Buddy, and thank you for joining me for the 2013-14 course registration information session. Next year, all schools in the state of North Carolina will move to a new student information system. We're going to be leaving NCWISE and moving to a new system called PowerSchool. This is a great welcome change, but it requires all CMS high schools to speed up the course selection and registration process for the 2013-14 school year. So while we typically do registration in the spring, we're actually going to be starting this Tuesday, December the 18th. Registration process is as follows. Students will receive the registration materials through their first or second semester English classes, depending on when they're scheduled for the course. They'll review this informational video, and they'll make their choices, take their registration cards home, as well as their four-year plans, and with their parents, make selections, review, and sign the card. We ask that students return their signed cards the very next day, because on that day, students will report to our Computer Lab D207 by English class, where they'll meet with the counselors, they'll go over their in-depth transcripts, and they'll make course selections for next year. Now, we understand that this is a very tight schedule, and we're asking families to turn around these cards very quickly. Again, we appreciate you being able to do that in a timely fashion so that we can get the courses into our current system. However, we appreciate that parents and students probably have a lot of questions. So counselors will be available to parents and students throughout the entirety of the process. And if you want to reach out to them, their contact information is provided at the end of this presentation. So this is what our first semester registration schedule looks like. You can see we're starting on the 18th. We're doing about 3 blocks every single day, and you can the names that you see there are the last names of the different English teachers. So we start with English 2, and then we go to English 1, and then English 3. Second semester looks like this, and I'll have a copy of this schedule elsewhere on our website so you can look at it. You don't have to save this screenshot, but you can see that we do a lot more courses, a lot more English classes, excuse me, second semester. We do have some time built in for makeups, but it is extremely important, parents, that if you can, make sure you send your child to school the day that they are supposed to register so that we don't have to track them down. It takes a lot more time to do that if they can't come directly to us by English class. So our master schedule, it operates under something called a hybrid model, which means that most of our students take 4 classes a day for 18 weeks, 1 semester. Some students, however, take A-Day, B-Day classes, which meet every other day for the entire year. And then some other students take something called double block classes, which is a class that meets every day all year long. Those classes are usually worth 2 credits. A good example is Foundations of Algebra that students take in the fall, and then Algebra 1 they take in the spring. The student stays with the same teacher in the same class. They just go every day all year long. So with these 3 different sort of, I guess, course offering opportunities, all students take 8 classes a year. So in order to figure out which classes you or your child needs to take, you have to understand what their graduation requirements are. And this is what they are. So for most students, they have to take 4 English classes, English 1, 2, 3, and 4. Students have to take 4 years of math, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and a class beyond Algebra 2 are typical. You take 3 sciences, earth science, biology, a physical science like chemistry or physics, social studies. The 3 courses required there are world history, civics, economics, and U.S. history, and then 1 additional science or social studies elective, and that can be anything from psychology to astronomy. We have a pretty good, I think, selection of science and social studies electives. Please choose one and make sure you have it before you graduate. All students are required to take 1 course that's health and PE. It's not just a regular PE. It has to specifically be health and PE. And then there's going to be a requirement of 4 concentration electives. I'll talk about those in a minute. And then 4 additional electives for a total of 24 courses. I think also if you're going to be picking your classes, you need to understand the requirements to be a North Carolina or CMS scholar. So when students graduate, if they have a GPA of a 3.5, they're eligible to be an NC scholar or a CMS scholar. However, they have to have the right classes. And so this slide tells you need 4 Englishes and 4 maths and 3 sciences and 3 social studies. That's pretty consistent with what I've already said for graduation requirements. But 2 years of a foreign language are required, 1 career and technical education course is required, 1 art education course is required to be an NC scholar. To be a CMS scholar, it's the same requirements, but you need 4 years of a foreign language and you need 1 art education class. Excuse me, you also need 4 social studies courses. So it is important to understand if you want to be an NC or CMS scholar, you're going to need a GPA, but you're also going to need to take the correct number of courses in these subject areas. So how do you fill out your registration card? Students will receive a 4-year student's course plan. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute. But they'll look at that and they'll say, okay, well, I've taken English 1, I've taken English 2, I know I need to take English 3 and eventually 4. So select which core classes you need and get the next level. If you have questions, most teachers are familiar with the sequences. You can ask them. Remember, you also, tomorrow, you're going to come in and meet with your counselor. They can help you iron out some questions that you may have. Students need to select 8 total courses, and they're going to have to indicate at least 3 alternate courses. And the reason we do alternates is because if we can't get you into one of the 8 classes that you picked, we want to give you a course that is maybe your second choice or your third choice. We don't want to just randomly place you in a course. So you need to put some thought into your alternates because you may very well wind up having one of those. And when you look at the registration card, and I'll show this to you in a minute, you want to be sure to notice your bullet points, your prerequisites, and your asterisks. So this is what the 4-year plan looks like. This is for a typical 11th grade student. This is a female student, and you can see what courses she took in 9th grade, that she earned credits, what her grades are, and you can see for 10th grade and 11th grade. So for this student, for instance, we can see that she's earned English 1, she's earned English 2, she's earned English 3. So next year, she's going to select English 4. It's pretty straightforward. This 4-year plan also tells you at the bottom some information about your grade point average, your class rank. That's worth seeing. Parents can keep this. We don't ask this to be returned the next day. It's yours to keep. This is a copy of our registration card, and I think it also is pretty straightforward, but it tells you by subject which courses we have available. So for this card, and this is the 12th grade card, English 4 is an option, English 4 Honors is an option, or AP English 4. We also have courses on most cards which are called ESL, that's English as a Second Language. If you're not in that program, you probably don't want to select that course. But then we have electives in each of these subject areas, like in English. We have debate, creative writing, literature and film, newspaper, and yearbook. And I think this is a good example. If you look at the yearbook course offering here, there's an asterisk, and underneath, right in that little box, it tells you that in order to take yearbook, you can sign up for it, but to be enrolled in it, you have to have a completed and an approved application from Ms. Strantz, the moderator of that program. Again, there's lots of bullet points, there's little check marks, there's important information on this card that we think helps guide your selections. One other thing about the course selection registration card is that you'll see some courses are listed in bold and some courses are not. The bold courses are those A-Day, B-Day courses. So there aren't as many of them as you can see, but as the card says, when you pick one bold course, you need to pick 2 because an A-Day course has to match up with a B-Day. We do our very best to come up with as many options so that we don't exclude kids from getting what they want. But A-Day, B-Day is one of those things where you just have to have a B-Day class to match up with your A-Day class. So please do pick them in pairs. So AP courses, we really think and we really believe that AP is a strong program. This is advanced placement. This is something that's sponsored by the College Board. It's a great program. And we know, research shows, that students who participate in AP courses outperform their peers in college, particularly in their grades and also their graduation rates. So we believe that all children deserve access to the rigor of AP coursework. Now that doesn't mean you can just sign up for the class and you're going to get an A. That means you can sign up for the class, but you're going to have to work very, very hard. Please keep in mind that AP is college-level coursework completed in high school. At the end of these courses, students can sit and take an exam, which if they earn a certain grade on, will count as actual college credit when they finally do graduate and matriculate in an institution of higher learning. The AP test score is one thing, but the grade that you earn in that class is going to be challenging. And so students who want to get into this course, want to learn more about it, we encourage you to do so, but also understand that enrollment in AP courses requires an AP contract to be completed. And that's because we have certain AP course expectations. Specifically, there's a lot of reading and writing assignments. We require students to do additional research outside of class to analyze all of the content that you'll be exposed to. You have to have a desire and ability to work independently and to push yourself. And you really have to be engaged in the study of the subject matter beyond just facts, right? There's a lot of critical thinking involved in these courses. It's great and it's rewarding, but you're going to have to work. So next year we have some new electives which we're excited to announce. We're going to offer AP Advanced Placement Human Geography, AP Physics C, SAT Prep, Newspaper, Debate, and a course called Project Lead the Way Human Body Systems, and that's an honors class. Please consider taking these electives because we do want them to be successful next year. Note, if you are interested in signing up for yearbook or library science, these courses are available. They're on the registration card. However, if you want to actually enroll in these courses, you're going to have an application that is approved by either Ms. Strantz for yearbook or Ms. Lord for library science. So a moment ago I talked about in order to be a CMS scholar you need to have, in order to meet your graduation requirements you have to have a certain number of career courses. At Mallard Creek we have 4 career clusters. We have arts, technology, communication, health sciences, marketing, and STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm not going to go through these classes one by one, but you need to understand that if you want to have a cluster, if you want to have a pathway in one of these clusters, you need to have 4 classes. So, for instance, in arts, technology, and communication, you need to have 4 of these courses: Sci-Tech Viz, apparel, fashion merchandising, game art design, apparel, advanced game art design, or principles of business. Now you'll see as I go through this that some of these courses repeat because some of them are in different clusters. That's okay, but if you want to have a completer, you need to have 4 of these courses. Health sciences, at this point we only have 2 courses. We're building this program from the 1 course that we had this year. So we have Principles of Biomedical Science and now Project Lead the Way Human Body Systems. For marketing, classes are Principles of Business, Marketing, Entrepreneurship, Fashion Merchandising, Strategic Marketing, International Marketing, and Apparel. And STEM, this is some Project Lead the Way courses, as you can see, Sci-Tech Viz 1 and 2, Entrepreneurship, and again we see Principles of Business and Finance. Students who are interested in taking online classes through the North Carolina Virtual Public School can select NCVPS elective as a course. It's on the back of your card. You can take that for either first or second semester. But it's kind of like the yearbook and the library of science. In order to actually enroll in the course, you have to complete an e-learning user agreement. In order to do that, if you're interested, you need to see Mrs. White, who's our career development coordinator, and she's housed in the Career Center right outside of Guidance, by February 28th, 2013. Students who are interested in taking classes through Central Piedmont Community College, there's a program there called Career and College Promise, which is only available to juniors and seniors. We'll also need to see Ms. White. There's 2 different programs there. There's the Core 44 Transfer Program, which requires a 3.0 weighted GPA and certain cut scores on either the ACT, the PSAT plan, or the AccuPlacer. There's also the Career and Technical Certificate Program, which requires a 2.5 weighted GPA, but these courses do not transfer to 4-year colleges. For more information about this or to actually get the application, please see Ms. White in the Career Development Center by February 28th, 2013. So here are some important dates. We're going to start registration on December 18th, 2012. We'll start the second semester registration on January 28th, 2013. That's for all the students who are taking second semester and just year-long English classes. The deadline again for NCVPS or CPCC is February 28th, 2013. And we're going to finish this process by March 29th, 2013. So I talked at the very beginning of this presentation about how our computer system is changing. After March 29th, we will no longer have access to changing any courses in our computer system. They're going to take it away from us, and we won't be able to revisit changes until July. So again, we appreciate that this is an advanced timeline, but we encourage you to get everything that you need, have all of your questions answered before March 28th so that we're not scrambling to get everything ready in July and August of next year. If you have any questions, these are the contact information for your counselors. Our counselors are divided alphabetically, and we encourage you to talk to them if you have specific questions, either before or after you complete your card and get signed up for your classes. Also, if you have questions, you can talk to me, Mr. Crawford. I'm the Assistant Principal for Instruction. There's my email address, and Ms. White, who I referred to, is our CDC. I thank you very much for your attention. I wish you all the best of luck next year, and if you have any questions, please let us know.